everything starts with your setup. So if you're setting up like this, you're never going to be able to get the ball over there because your grip won't let you do that. So then we have to make like a slight grip change. If you're sort of like this, you're going to fall over every ball. So then we have to get your head right. So everything starts with how you set up.
Check it out.
Alright, so what we're going to try and do is we're trying to make you hit the ball more consistently. I think I'm going to call you more sort of quite sort of beginners or amateurs, and what we're trying to do is just progress your skill level. So the basics of batting, and that's what we're going to really focus on. We're going to start on front foot. Over the 10 weeks we'll progress to other things, some back foot, some playing spin and stuff, but everything starts with this sort of front foot play. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get the bat coming through in a straight line to the ball. Okay, what our natural swing, I'm going to ask you all, are you right-handed batter, right-hand dominant? Right-hand batter, right-hand dominant? Yeah, right-hand batter. So our natural swing, I've got a 2.5-year-old daughter, and she's learning to swing a bat at the moment. Any kid you give a bat to, a natural swing is like this.
That's me.
Exactly, that's natural, that's natural. So we use our strong side, and if you play baseball, you play tennis, you play golf, we sort of do that. We swing, we open our hips, and we swing that way. Now if I said to you ladies, I want you to hit a 6, and I threw your ball, you'd probably try and do it there, because that's your natural swinging arc.
Yeah.
Whereas when the ball's travelling from the bowler's hand to the stumps, it's travelling in this direction. If we're swinging across the line, if we don't get our timing perfect, we often miss it, we get out.
Yeah.
So what we want to try and do, and you could get it right, it could go out the ground, but it's high risk. So in batting, like we talk about risk, and low risk is when you're playing in control, and high risk is when you're sort of trying to smack it or whatever. So what we want to try and get to is for you to get in positions that allow you to be balanced, and then swing through the line of the ball consistently. Yeah? So to do that, we're going to do lots of underarms, working on your basic positions of balance and bat swing. And our goal is, I'm going to ask you all this question, what's the most efficient way to travel from point A to point B? If it's a straight line, exactly. So we don't want our bat going like from there, round and round and round, and then hit the ball. We're trying to sort of come from back there through in a straight line to the ball. Yeah, and if it's wide, we turn our body and we then, our straight line goes that way, through where the ball goes. If it's there, we turn and so all we're really going to work on today, and then we'll build on top of that, is trying underarm feeds and trying to be nice and still at release. The ball comes, and then we're just going to try and take one step forward and hit through the line of the ball. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to fight your natural instinct to hit with your right hand. To get our bat coming through straight, we actually need to use our left side, and it's unnatural, really unnatural. High elbow, but strong in your left side. Your right hand sort of is soft, and we hit through a straight line. If this takes over, it'll want to go that way.
Yeah, I'm really good at scooping the ball up.
Yep.
That's me. I'm very bottom hand.
Yep.
Line.
And you can make that work.
Yeah.
But that's where, like, I'll give each of you some time, like, because there's only 3, what we'll do is I'll feed to one person in here, the other 2 can be over there, and I'll keep an eye on it. But then we'll swap around who's in here. So you get a bit of one-on-one time with me today. And each one of you will have a different thing that you need to focus on. We're all trying to get the same outcome.
Yeah.
But for you, it might be that your right hand takes over to do that. For you, it might be that your weight's back and you're sort of pushing at the ball. And we're trying, so you'll all be focusing on something slightly different, no doubt. Yeah, but we're trying to get to that same outcome. Everything starts with your setup. So if you're setting up like this, you're never going to be able to get the ball over there because your grip won't let you do that. So then we have to make like a slight grip change. If you're sort of like this, you're going to fall over every ball. So then we have to get your head right. So everything starts with how you set up and how you move in those first seconds after the ball's released. If you sort of go to there, you'll never be able to hit it on drive because your weight's going that way. Your foot has to land and you have to come around your circle. So I'm really big on the basics of getting set up right and those moments of when the ball's bowled, you're nice and still and balanced. Then you can move, if it's over there, you can move over there. If it's here, you can move there. If it's short, you can go back and punish it. So women's cricket's a bit different to men's. Men's, you could face 145 k's an hour and the ball swings and whatever. Women's is a little bit slower. So you want to be able to generate power. So something that I want to focus on with you ladies is picking your hands up. With men, it might be you could just sort of come from here and punch the ball. because there's pace on it. But a lot of the time in women's cricket, you don't have that pace. So we want to sort of set up where you can use your bottom hand a bit more if it's short. Or if you want to, you pick your hands up, you can put pace on the ball. But we can progress into that.
It's a bit hard with ours, like with our league, specifically, we don't get the same ball, the same, like, we get wide ones, loopy ones, really slow, really quick, it's not consistent.
Exactly.
I think that's another thing that, like, balls that I think that I can get, I'm like, oh, I can do this, but it's not the same, and it's not the right shot to play. It's just knowing what shot to play and what.
Decision making. Decision making. But a lot of that, sorry, a lot of that is if you've got good fundamentals in your technique and your skill, you can adjust and you'll make good decisions from there. But if you've got sort of errors in your technique and you're off balance and all these, it's so much harder to adjust. So first thing we've got to do with any player, whether you're 6 or 60 or whatever, is you've got to try and get your technical fundamentals in a good place. Then it becomes about decision making. Then it becomes about, is that the right ball to cut? Is that the right ball to defend or leave? Because a lot of the time people do get out because they've made the wrong decision, not necessarily because of their technique. So decision making is crucial in batting, but you've got to get your technique to a level first. And so what I'd like to be able to do, like you say, you get balls all over the place. And then what is the goal of that? Well done. It's not about having a perfect technique. So we're not chasing perfection. We're chasing you guys getting in positions that allows you to hit the ball into gaps and score runs. So even if you, let's say, right now you're like this, and technically you're perfect, but that doesn't actually allow you to swing freely and hit the ball. I'd say where you're at, let's try and set you up more like a baseballer, and try and get your hands away from your body so that you can actually hit the ball and score runs. Because you're not going to, unless I hope I don't shatter your dreams here, but I don't think you're going to play international cricket. You're not here because you're trying. You're not here because you're trying to play that. You're just trying to enjoy cricket a bit more, and you'll enjoy it by getting a bit better. So if we can set you up to score runs, I'm going to coach you a bit differently to how I coach a 13-year-old trying to play for Australia. Like, it's all about hitting the ball consistently well. Yeah? Does that make sense? So, that being said, all I want to do is, I'll start with you, Ish, you start with me, you two go over there in a second. One of the helmets stay on, please, as I said. Whoever's not batting, gloves off, underarm feed, and you might not feed very well today, but this is part of what we're doing. The skill is to be able to help each other. I hope that over the 10 weeks you'll get better at feeding and then you'll be able to go and help each other away from here. But the art of sort of throwdowns has been lost in a lot of, because bowling machines are so accessible. When I was growing up, I grew up in Alice Springs, I'd just go to the nets every day with someone and do throwdowns. So I want you guys to be able to feed to each other. We might get to the bowling machine at some point, we might not, depends where we get to. But today we won't. So just underarm feed. I'll give you an example of how I want that feed to be. Whoever's batting we'll probably do, let's do a 10-minute rotation. So you'll be with me 10 minutes, someone will feed for 10 minutes, someone will bat. Whoever's feeding will come to the batter here. That batter will come to me, so Ish will then go to the feeder. That'll get us through half an hour. We'll have a chat and see where we're at, sort of thing. All we're after is just trying to hit the ball where you want it to go, and we're trying to sort of hit with a full face. Let's just start with that, and we'll see where we get to. Any questions? Another thing I need to say is that there's no such thing as a silly question. If you think, oh, that sounds silly, I don't want to ask it, like I promise you, it's not silly. I've heard them all before, and I know that you guys are very amateur. You don't know. I might explain something, and you don't know it. So just please ask if you're not sure. Yeah. That's good. That's right, exactly right.